But today, y'all, today I got something for you, like literally. Okay, so last night when I was sleeping, I was just letting the Bible play. And I kept waking up like every 2 hours. And every 2 hours there was something that was playing, and it caught my attention. But then I went back to sleep like a scripture or two. And I fell back asleep. And then so this morning I went and looked it up. I was like, now I remember it calling a name. So I started rereading the chapter. And y'all, let me tell you something. Ezra is hitting. You hear me? Ezra is hitting. Okay. So there were some things like we've been contemplating about, and things, like just making decisions on what we should be doing and all these good things. And so Lord can just speak to you any kind of way. And he didn't really there was other things that I asked God for too as well. But he didn't really go into like the questions that I was asking him about, hey God, should I choose this or should I choose that? Should I do this? Should I do that? But what he did was like gave me a solution, or anyway, he gave me a word, and I want to share this word with you guys, just through his word, what I got, and it, y'all, all you need to do is commit your works to God, and he will make it prosper. You hear me? God will make it prosper. So this is the thing. So Ezra, in the book of Ezra, they was going to build a temple. Rebuild the tabernacle or the temple that was torn down from Nebuchadnezzar. And there was a guy or a prophet that got instructions from a king, and the king was like, oh yeah, go build it, go rebuild it, go rebuild the wall, go build the temple, and we're going to give you everything that you need, right? But this is the thing. So when you go out to do the works of God, it's always going to be somebody, some naysayer, something. There's always going to be some sort of hindrance. But y'all, if you know that God has called you to do a thing, do it. Do it. And it also says to do it with diligence. Let this work continue in diligence, right? So there was they was going to build a temple, and some guys, they pretend that they was with them and was like, hey, let us help. And that was like, nah, you ain't got nothing to do with what's going on with us and what the works that God has called us to do. So remember that. So everybody that say that they're on your side isn't always on your side. Those people that say that they want to help you prosper and help you do this thing that God says, for you to do, they're not always there to help you. Sometimes they're there to hinder you. Sometimes they're there plotting, trying to distract you, trying to destroy what it is that God has called you to do. And so when they didn't allow them to come in and help, quote unquote help, they was there to hinder. They got upset because, of course, God will let you know. And so they got upset and then started writing letters to the new king saying, hey, these people are rebellious people, which they was rebellious back then to God. These people are known for being rebellious and all these things like that. So they need to stop. You need to stop them, because they're going to take the money and stuff from you, and then they're not going to give you any taxes, or you're not going to gain anything from it. This is what they're telling the king. They're trying to act as if they there for the king, but they're really not. They just want to stop the Israelites from doing what God called them to do. So people will do things, will call people on you, will talk crazy talk about you just to make your name seem bad to other people, so that you can't do the works, or your works that you're doing don't prosper, right? And so the king was like, oh, okay, yeah, I looked into them and I heard that they were back then, so they was like, yeah, stop the work. And so it stopped for a little bit, but somebody dared to go and confront the king. Somebody dared to stand up eventually and was like, no, my God deserves this. My God wants this done, and we're going to do it. So, hey, this is what's going on. Sorry, y'all. I'm on my way to go pick up some kids, and so I want to get this done. And so they're saying, hey, no, God has decreed this thing. And y'all know that if God has spoken it, it's got to come to pass, because his words don't return back to him void. So it has to come to pass. So the prophet went on and met with the king and was like, hey, God has instructed us to do this thing. And they looked it up and they was like, oh, yes, King so-and-so did say it's okay. So guess what? The funny thing was, if I'm not mistaken, those same guys that tried to stop him are the same guys that the king instructed, hey, give them everything they need. So God will make your enemies your footstool, right? If you're doing it according to God's will and not just for your own selfish gain. So make sure that whenever you're doing things, that you're not doing it out of selfish gains, that you're doing it because God has called you to do it. You're doing this work, no matter what work it is. If God has called you to do it because God has called you to do it, to build up the kingdom, not to build your pockets, not to do things just out of selfish gain, like so people can say, woo, you're all this and you're all that, or just to make yourself look good. Do it because God told you to do it, right? Do it because God told you to do it. If God ain't called you to it, don't try to do stuff, okay? Because it don't always work. You'll be doing it out of your own self, and then you'll be weak, or it won't last as long because you're not doing it for the kingdom. You're doing it for your own self, for your own glory, and everything in this world is temporary, okay? But what I'm saying is, when you're doing the work of God, he will make it prosper. When you're doing it because God says do it, when you're doing it to advance the kingdom of God, he will prosper it, y'all. So I was just reading that and I was like, wow. And then the kicker was this. The king said, give them everything, right? Give them everything. They don't have to pay no taxes. Matter of fact, we're going to help them build it. You, the enemy, is going to give them everything that they need. And then a part of it, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he said, this is what the Lord said. This is what the king says. Your King of Kings and Lord of Lords said that if you're doing his work, if you're building whatever it is that he told you to build, he said, let everybody be accursed that try to come and hinder it. Let everybody be cast down, be destroyed, or whatever it is for trying to come and hinder the work that God has called you to do. So if you're coming against a man or a woman of God and the works that God has called them to do in the ministry or whatever it is that God has called them to do, if you're coming up against them, y'all, you might want to check yourself. You might want to check yourself, because God was like, let this work. The king said, let this work continue with diligence. Let this work continue. Don't let it stop until it's done. And if anybody, any nation, any king, anybody in authority that comes and try to stop it, that just got me right there. That got me right there. Y'all can see the verse in the descriptions. But he was like, if any king or any person, any people come and try to stop it, try to hinder it, put them to death, destroy them, cast them out, or whatever it is that he said. But know that destruction is coming your way if you're trying to stop the work of God. Y'all, that just blessed my soul. That just blessed me so, y'all just don't understand. And so I was like, oh, let me share this with them. Let me share this with somebody, because if you're doing a work for God and you got people coming up against you, just know and thank God that they can't really stop the works. If you're doing it, if you're committing this work to God, they cannot stop the works. God has said that they will be the one that's destroyed. God has said that they'll be the one that's cast out. God said, don't let this work stop. Let it continue. Y'all, that just blessed me so much, because whenever you're doing the will of God and you're trying to do things, you're trying to help people, and then people take advantage of you, or you trying to help them or trying to help the community or whatever it is. People are to come up against you and try to ruin your name or try to stop the works or whatever it is. But God will take them same people where they think that they sitting here calling your name out, scandalizing you. What they really doing is making your name known. Making your name known so that whenever they go and actually look you up, when they go and ask God about you, God gonna say, oh no, they good. Help them. Oh no, they good. Oh no, they good. Y'all, that just blessed me so much. That blessed me so much. And I was like, I gotta share this with somebody. So y'all, I love y'all. And until next time, y'all, just keep doing the works of the Lord, okay? Just keep doing the works of the Lord. Commit your works to God. Make sure that your mindset is on God. Make sure that the things that you're doing is for God and not for your own selfish glory. And y'all, God will make it prosper. He will make your enemies your footstool. God said that he'll bless anything that you put your hands to, y'all. He said he'll bless anything you put your hands to, as long as you're doing his good works. You're doing his good works, not yours, but his good works, y'all. Y'all, I just love that so much. I just love that so much. So now when people come up against you, just know that they can't stop nothing. They can't stop nothing unless God decides for it to be stopped. All right? You just continue on. I love you until next time. Bye-bye.